Hi guys, this is JasonNo.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the Xiaomi 13 Pro. It's been a while since the last Xiaomi phone we've unboxed, and also it's been a while since the last ceramic back phone we've handled. So this device has been available in China ever since December, basically inaugurating the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. And this is the ceramic back I was talking about. It's channeling for me memories of the OnePlus 60 and the Xiaomi 11 Ultra, but check out the new camera approach. Definitely larger than the one of the Xiaomi 12 Pro. Okay, so we have here the black version, ceramic black. There are also others like white and green, also ceramic, plus a light blue version which uses a sort of faux leather. It's an unboxing, so it will not be very detailed, although I actually tend to make unboxing videos quite detailed. First impression, curved surfaces. Curved sides for the screen, curved sides for the ceramic back. We also have Gorilla Glass Victus here for protection, just so you know. Okay, so we fired it up. The screen is pretty bright, so let me tone it down a little bit. Actually, not that much. And let's continue with the unboxing. Come on, and see what's inside the box of the Xiaomi 13 Pro. With a bit of luck, you should be able to find it for around 1,000 euros or less in Europe. In the box, we find this envelope. In the envelope, which says designed by Xiaomi, we find a metal key used to access the slots. When I say slots, I only mean nano SIM. MicroSD hasn't been available on Xiaomi's for a while now. Here we have the quick start guide, as well as the warranty card and some extra documents related to the safety information. There's also a case which I'm definitely going to use on account of the fact that, like the most ceramic phones, this one is a bit slippery if you ask me. Courtesy of all the curves. Not only is the back side curved and the front side, but also the frame, which is made of aluminum, or aluminium as the British would call it. Here we have the cable, which goes from USB-C to USB-A and hooks up to a pretty generous charger. I have to admit, I've seen Xiaomi handle this charge before. It's 120 watts, quite fast, USB-A, and it's a gallium nitride technology. Hope I didn't butcher the name. Okay, so that's about it as far as the content of the box is concerned. Time to check out the device itself. First good news is that it has IP60 certification. It can take some water and dust. It's pretty well built, feels rather solid. It also attracts a bit of dust and lint around the camera area. The ceramic back attracts less fingerprints than glass would. It's also rather a top heavy phone. The weight is centered around this area, very top heavy, and honestly quite slippery, so the case is a must have. Now aside from that, I think it's time to address other things. We have comfy buttons here, and we also have a pretty large screen. It's a 6.73-inch OLED with LTPO technology, also 2K plus resolution on 120 Hz, Dolby Vision, HDR10, all the goodies. Now if you want to see what other things we have here, AIDA definitely helps. So we have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 4nm CPU. There are versions with 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. We're actually lucky enough to have the version with 12 gigs and also pretty impressive 512 gigabytes of storage. Keep in mind, if you get this version or the 256 one, you're getting UFS 4.0. Now let me wipe this a little bit. Okay, and we go back. So as I said before, if you're getting the 256 or 512 version, it's UFS 4.0. If you get 128 gigabytes, it's just UFS 3.1. So there are differences to keep in mind. And the RAM is of the LPDDR5X variety, so fresher than fresh. There's no microSD here, and if you want to talk about the battery, it's a rather atypical capacity, 4820 mAh. Aside from the 120 watt wired charging, there's 50 watt wireless charge and also 10 watt reverse wireless charge, so you can put the device here and charge it up. We have stereo speakers, so this is the bottom one. I'm not sure if the top one is the earpiece or one of the holes here. Now I know that this is a microphone, this is a microphone, this is the infrared emitter, but this hole here has me intrigued. Could be for the speaker or could be one of the stronger microphones. I also see the antenna cutouts, which is a good reason to tell you. We have 5G connectivity available here, as well as Wi-Fi 6E, as any flagship should, plus Bluetooth 5.3 and GPS dual band. There's NFC available here, aside from infrared, and still we're stuck with an USB-C 2.0 port at the bottom. Now, aside from that, the sensors. We have a fingerprint sensor in the screen. You can see it signaled here of the optical variety, but I opted for the face unlock, which is pretty fast. There's an accelerometer, proximity sensor, gyroscope, compass, barometer, and color spectrum sensor. This cutout you can see here, the top side hosts a 32 megapixel selfie camera, and at the back side the show is able to start. You can clearly see the Leica branding here. Leica and Xiaomi have been working together ever since the Xiaomi 12S series. So we have a main 50.3 megapixel camera with dual pixel phase detection autofocus, laser autofocus, and optical image stabilization. It's of the 1-inch variety sensor. And then we have an interesting one. So the telephoto camera here, the 50 megapixel telephoto camera, actually helps with the close-ups. It can start from 10 centimeters and go to infinity with the focus. 3.2x optical zoom, and the third camera also 50 megapixels, ultra-wide, 150 degrees, and autofocus. So just like last year, there are 3 50 megapixel cameras. Something tells me they will be more impressive than the ones we had last year. Now, we obviously have quite a few options, and I feel that the camera design has changed a bit. There are some red elements here and there, which have been brought on by the Leica partnership. Options include panorama, time-lapse, super moon, short video, slow motion, long exposure, clone, 50 megapixel shots, vlog, movie effects, and dual video. There's a night mode, and we have the Leica authentic or vibrant filters. There's a portrait area, we can also apply those here, photo as well, and AI is part of the package in both photo and should also be video, but apparently not. These are the stabilization modes, steady video, and also steady video pro, which most likely involves the ultra-wide camera, as it happens on the Samsung phones. There's documents here for students. It already sensed a potential document, the box. And finally the Pro mode, which lets you tweak exposure, ISO, shutter, focus, and white balance, plus a few more. Okay, so if you're doing video, you can go up to 8K in 24 frames per second, sadly not 30 like Samsung does. There's also a very nifty teleprompter feature. You can put your script here, have it play, and read it as you use the camera like this. Hopefully it also works when using the front camera, which would actually make sense. Okay, so enough with the cameras, even though there's quite a lot to address here. So let's talk about the software. The handset provides you finally with something new, MIUI 14 based on Android 13. It's actually the first MIUI 14 phone we see, and honestly I expected a bit more, especially in the widgets department. I failed to see any novelty in the widgets area. I don't see any stacked or new widgets. Well, perhaps the music one looks a bit fresher. Photos and digital well-being, there have been some changes here. I'll be honest, the quick settings area feels a bit lighter on the eyes, a bit more transparency unless I'm mistaken, and the icons have been slightly reshaped, but only slightly. I also see a smart devices section here, and from what I've heard, there should be some, well, changes in the always on display area. Okay, so obviously also improvements in the whole color palette, material using, extra security, and there's something of a sidebar here. So if you open up a video app, you should get this sidebar, video toolbox, and another sidebar will appear once you enter a game like this one, for example. Once again, it should be treated to a sidebar, which is this one here. So basically boosting your performance, cleaning up memory, changing your voice for streaming, and also doing some recording if need be. I see some smaller widgets here, which may be a bit of a novelty, but aside from that, I don't see many big changes from MIUI 13 to the 14 version. I guess I'll have to discover them as we test the device further. The extra features are found here. For example, you can track your heart rate using the fingerprint scanner, which is sort of an experimental feature. There is the second space. You can expand your RAM with up to 7 GB, even though we have 12 here, which is plenty for me. Okay, so far so good. It feels like more of a premium proposal compared to the Xiaomi 12 Pro ahead of it, and I have a feeling that I'm going to love at least one of the cameras at the backside. I'm curious about the whole 10 centimeter close-up macro with the telephoto. Haven't seen that before. Okay, so it's slippery at first, but then it handles nicely once you know how to grip the buttons area here. Those will be my first impressions for the Xiaomi 13 Pro, and a lot of expectations from the Leica powered camera. That's it from us. Goodbye.